Hi, this is our presentation from Group 9. Thank you to Dr. Irene Christianus, our lecturer for course Biodiversity. So we're gonna talk about deforestation affects biodiversity. So the deforestation affect biodiversity is deforestation, the large-scale removal of forests, has significant negative effect on biodiversity. Forests are home to a wide variety of plant and animal species, many of which rely on this ecosystem for survival. When forests are cleared for agriculture, urban development, or logging, habitats are destroyed, leading to the loss of species and disruption of ecological balance. This loss of biodiversity not only threats individual species but also weakens the resilience of ecosystem, affecting their ability to provide essential services like carbon storage, water purification, and soil protection. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Nafi bin Halim. Now I will go to the first slide, which is the biodiversity issue. Here there are four issues that we have listed, which the deforestation and habitat loss, climate change and species extinction, invasive species, and our exploration of natural resources. Now we go to our first issue, which is deforestation and habitat loss. Deforestation is one of the most critical issues threatening biodiversity and the health of our planet. So, what is deforestation? Deforestation is the process of clearing or thinning forests by humans to make land available for other use, such as logging or development. Deforestation causes significant problems for wildlife by leading to habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, and increased human-wildlife conflict. This happens because animals lost shelter, food sources, and place to raise their young. Now we turn to the second issue, which is climate change and species extinction. As you can see for the graph, global temperature has risen by about 1 degree Celsius since pre-Industrial time, mainly mainly due to human activities such as burning fossil fuel. This monitoring is causing variety of problems for ecosystems and the species that inhabit them. In addition to increased global temperature, the, the effect of climate change include extreme water events such as drought, hurricanes, and rising sea level. Climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of the extreme water event, which can cause widespread destruction of ecosystem, leading to habitat loss, food shortage, and mass extinction of species. The effect of climate change on even the small species can threaten ecosystem and other species across a food chain. For example, if a key plant species declines due to drought, it can affect the herbivores that depend on it, and it tends to predators that depend on those herbivores. Now, I will pass the slide to my friend Adila.
My name is HUMAIRA binti Muhammad AZAM and my number matrix is E24834772. Invasive species. Invasive species is an introduced species that harms its new environment. Invasive species adversely affect habitats and bioregions, causing ecological, environmental, and economic damage. The term can also be used for native species that become harmful to their native environment and human alteration to its food web. Since the 23rd century, invasive species have become serious economic, social, and environmental threats worldwide. Exploitation of natural resources. The exploitation of natural resources describe using natural resources often not renewable or limited for economic growth and development. Environmental degradation, human insecurity, and social conflict may accompany natural resource exploitation. The impacts of the depletion of natural resources include the decline of economic growth in local areas.
Hi, my name is SOFEA binti and my number matrix is E24834669. The causes of deforestation and habitat loss. The first one is agricultural expansion. Farmers clear vast tracts of forest land to grow such as soybeans, corn, or to create pasture for livestock. The second one is overpopulation. People living in impoverished condition rely heavily on forests for food and shelter. And the last one is infrastructure development. Forests are cleared to make way for roads, housing, and industrial zones. Large-scale projects like dams and highways require extensive forest cover. Next is the causes of climate change. Transportation. Transportation sector reliant on fossil fuels is a significant contributor to CO2, greenhouse gas emission. Methane gas emit during agricultural activities such as rice cultivation from landfills. And the last one is waste management. Inadequate recycling and the burning of waste further release harmful pollutants into the atmosphere. The causes of invasive species. Climate change. Warming temperature alter precipitation patterns and extreme weather events create conditions favorable for the spread of invasive species. The second one is habitat disturbance. Human activities like deforestation, urbanization, and pollution disturb ecosystems. This way making them more vulnerable to invasions. And the last one is lack of natural predators. Native habitat species are controlled by predators, disease or competitors. When introduced to the new environment, they often lack these natural checks allowing them to grow. The causes of overexploration of natural resource. Overfishing and marine exploration, driven by the high demand for seafood and unsustainable fishing practice. Harmful methods such as bottom trawling, and the second one is technological advancement. Enable the exploitation of previously inaccessible reserves such as drilling techniques use hydraulic fracturing. And the last one is poverty and economic pressure. Alternative income source or sustainable technologies force them to overexploit this resource, often leading to environmental degradation. Next is impact of ecosystem, species, and human communities. The first one is impact for deforestation and habitat loss. For ecosystem, loss of biodiversity. Deforestation destroys habitats leading to species extinction and reduced genetic diversity. Impact of species, food chain disruption, causing imbalance that affect all levels of the ecological hierarchy. And the last one is impact for human community. Health risk, increase the spread of zoonotic disease as humans come into closer contact with wildlife. Air pollution from forest fires degrade air quality, affects respiratory health. Impact of climate changes for ecosystem, species, and human community. Ecosystem, habitat loss, coastal and low-lying ecosystem face disruption due to sea level rise. For species is alter life cycle. Change in temperature affect breeding, hibernation, and migration pattern, leading to mismatch in ecosystem. And the last one is for impact human community. Food security, changes in climate disrupt agriculture cycle, reduce crop yields, and threaten fisheries, leading to food shortage. Impact invasive species for ecosystem, species, and human communities. Ecosystem, biodiversity loss. Invasive species can outcompete native species for resources like food, water, and space, leading to decline or extinction of native species. For species, disease transmission, some invasive species carry pathogens that infect native plants and animals, causing population decline. And impact for human community is cultural impacts. The loss of native species and ecosystems can affect cultural practice tied to natural landscapes and biodiversity.
Hello everyone, my name is MOHAMMAD and I'm gonna share you all about local, national or international laws addressing this issue. Regarding to the solutions proposed by AINA, there's actually national laws and policies run by higher authorities, and here's some of them that secretly play behind scenes. First, we have Montreal Protocol on Substances that deplete the ozone layer, Montreal 1987. The Montreal Protocol on Substances that deplete the ozone layer is a global agreement to protect the Earth's ozone layer by phasing out the chemicals that deplete it. This phase-out plan includes both the production and consumption of ozone-depleting substances. The Montreal Protocol provided a set of practical, actionable tasks that were universally agreed on. The protocol has successfully met its objective thus far and continues to safeguard the ozone layer today. Thanks to the collaborative effort of nations around the world, the ozone layer is well on its way to recovery. Next, we have National Environmental Policy Act of 1969 (NEPA). The National Environmental Policy Act of (NEPA) was one of the first laws ever written that establishes the broad national framework for protecting our environment. NEPA's basic policy is to ensure that all branches of government give proper consideration to the environment prior to undertaking any major federal action that significantly affects the environment. And we also have Clean Air Act of 1970. The enactment of the CCA of 1970 resulted in a major shift in the federal government's role in air pollution control. The legislation authorized the development of comprehensive federal and state regulation to limit emissions from both stationary source and mobile source. Four major regulatory programs affecting stationary source were initiated: the National Ambient Air Quality Standards (AAQS), pronounced NETs, state implementation plans (SIPs), new source performance standards (SPS), and national emission standards for hazardous air pollutants (NES-HAPS). There's more crucial laws and policies not mentioned by me, and AMAR will present some of them, including the effectiveness of them. That's all from me, and thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ASDAM bin MOHD. My matrix number is A24B3366. For my part, I would like to discuss the effectiveness evaluation on law or policies. My first point is reduce deforestation rates. The example is policies like Brazil forest codes have contributed to significant reduction in deforestation, particularly in the Amazon from 2004 to 2024. My second point is biodiversity protection. The example is conservation initiatives under the Convention of Biological Diversity (CBD) have led to the establishment of numerous protected areas worldwide. My last point is economic incentives. The example is programs like REDD Plus provide financial incentives to countries to reduce deforestation and manage forests sustainably, linking environmental efforts to economic benefits. That's all for my parts. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Adila binti Sakaria and my matrix number is E24A3462. And my friend Muhammad SYAHMI bin Abu SAIRI, his matrix number is E23A3091. And now I will explain about three practical solutions, which is government policy and regulation, sustainable practice and alternatives, consumer awareness and action. Now I will talk about the first point is government policy and regulation, which is the government policy and regulation is government develop and implement forest conservation policy to regulate and promote safe land use. For example, the Wilderness Area Act of 1964. The Wilderness Area Act of 1964 protects certain area within national forests from most form of development, preserving their natural state for future generation. Information, timber regulation regulate timber harvesting on federal lands to protect wildlife habitat, water quality, and forest health. The Forest Legacy Program, administered by the U.S. Forest Service, which is works with voluntary partnership through private landowners and state to conserve environmentally significant forests. The U.S. Forest Service under the Department of Agriculture manage the national forest system, which comprises over 150 national forests and grasslands. These areas are designed for multiple use, including recreation, timber harvesting, wildlife, habitat conservation, and watershed protection. I think that's all from me, and I will continue the slide with my friend is MOHAMMAD SYAHMI. Thank you.
Sustainable practices and alternatives. Practicing sustainable farming techniques and agroforestry can limit the impact of cutting down trees. Agroforestry is adaptable to various climates and farming systems, making it feasible for widespread implementation. By enhancing soil health, increasing biodiversity, and reducing the need for chemical inputs, agroforestry promotes long-term ecological balance and resilience. Agroforestry can significantly enhance ecosystem services, support biodiversity, and provide economic benefits to farmers through diversified income streams. Engage local communities in planning and implementing agroforestry projects, fostering knowledge exchange and collaboration. Lastly, consumer awareness and action. Individual consumer choices have a collective impact on the environment. Consumers can contribute to forest conservation, while sustainable products may sometimes be more expensive or harder to find. There is increasing availability as consumer demand rises. Supporting sustainable sourcing ensures that materials are harvested responsibly, reducing deforestation and promoting long-term ecosystem health. If widely adopted, choosing sustainably sourced materials can drive major market shifts towards more environmentally responsible practices, ultimately reducing pressure on forests.
In conclusion, deforestation has a profound negative impact on biodiversity, contributing to habitat loss, fragmentation, and the decline of species. As forests are cleared for agriculture, urbanization, and industrial development, many plant and animal species lost their natural homes, leading to a reduction in their population and, in some cases, extinction. Deforestation disrupts ecological balance, diminishes genetic diversity, and alters local climate conditions, further exacerbating the challenge faced by wildlife. Efforts to combat deforestation, such as sustainable land management practice, reforestation, and conservation initiatives, are critical to preserving the planet biodiversity for future generations. Thank you. That's all from our group.